Today is Thursday, August 18th, 2022. It is also day 43 of SQL, and today the case scenario is that I'm in a school district, and basically all of the schools in the district have to log the amount of money that they spend on any student initiative, like a club or something. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create an SQL database that just kind of reflects that and then do some querying on it. So I'll create table and I'll call it like schools. And then in the parentheses is where I put the column names that I want to insert in my table. So the first one is the ID, which is kind of like a default column. It's the identifier. It just identifies each row that you put in. And then the next thing is the data type. So it's like the integer. So I know that it's going to be a number. So I'm going to make sure that it's an integer. I want SQL to know that this is just the default column. It's not just any, column. It's a specific SQL column primary key, and I wanted to automatically add it to every row that I add so that I don't have to actually write like one and then blah 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 and then two blah blah blah. All right. Yeah, and then the second column would be like the name of the club or initiative, and so that's going to be data type text because it's going to be a string, and then the amount that the schools um put into or spent in that club, and that's going to be data type integer. Now, to insert my first row, I'll do insert into and then the table name schools. And then I'll put in the values, not the values, but the columns that I'm going to insert. And that's going to end up just being the club and the amount because ID is going to be automatically generated. I mean, added, not generated. If I didn't put auto increment, then I would just have to put ID as well. Or I could have done something else, but I'm not going to get to that. And then over here, I would have done values and then actually put in the values. So let's say there's like I actually Googled a list of clubs. So like there could be a film club, and then let's say like $300 was allotted to the film club. I also forgot to mention I actually need the name of the school, obviously. So school, and then that's going to be data type text. So I'll also add that over here. So school, and then over here I'll put in I don't know, what's like random names like Roberts Elementary. I doubt like an elementary would have a film club, but sure. Let me just make everything caps lock. Film club. All right, and now to see that first row, I can just select everything from schools, which is the table name, and I'll be able to see it. Beautiful, right? So I have the ID, which is automatically added, and then the school name, the film club, like whatever club, and then the amount that they spent. Now I'm just gonna copy and paste this like a few more times and just kind of change the name. So maybe this could be like, I don't know, Kalo Elementary. This could be like a middle school. And it could be like Laurie's middle school or something. And then what's different types of clubs? So I have like the cooking club, and then like maybe like $100 went into the cooking club. And then let's say Roberts Elementary also let's see, had photography club. If I make a typo, I'm sorry. So maybe they just spent 200 on photography club. And then maybe, let's see, there's an art history, maybe just art club. Could be Roberts Elementary also. And they spent, let's say, like 400 on art on that club. And then let's do like, let me remove these and just put in a little bit more of these because I want to be able to have like multiple schools. And so let's say there was also like an environmental club and they spent like 600 on that because they did like a lot of gardening or whatever. And then let's say Lori's middle school spent, let's say, what's another club? There's a computer club, and that could be like, I don't know, like 700. And then what's another club? Improv. Improv club, and that could be let's see, 500. All right, so now you can see like the database in real time. So I have Roberts Elementary, the club that they, what do you call it? The club that they allotted money to, and then the amount of money that they allotted to that club. So these are basically the monthly expenses of these schools in the district, in terms of like the student initiatives and student clubs. So now let's do some querying. So let's say I want to look at the sum of basically all of the money that the individual schools themselves allotted to any club. So it's not just specific clubs, but just like any club within their school. So the way I'll do that is I'll select the school, and then I'll also select the sum of the amount from schools, and then I'll make sure to group by schools, school, and then, oops, that should be right over here. Okay. And so now I'm looking at all of the schools that I mentioned. So Kalo Elementary, Lowry's Middle School, and Roberts Elementary. And then I can see the total amount of money that they spent within like all of their clubs. So Kalo Elementary spent $800. Lowry's Middle School spent $1,500 in like, student initiatives. And Roberts Elementary spent $900 in their student initiatives. So I can see that just like overall. Another thing that I can do is maybe get the average amount that they spent. So I know that Kale Elementary spent like an average of $266.7 dollars in student initiatives and so on and so on. I can look at the minimum amount that they spent. So I can look at, Kale Elementary spent like a minimum of $100, Lori's 300, Roberts 200. I can also look at the maximum that they spent, so $600 for Kalo, Lori's Middle School $700. If I want to know specifically what club they spent the maximum amount, I can also not only select the school, but I can select the club also. And now I can see the club and then also the amount that they spent on that club, which I know is the maximum. But if I just want to know what club that they spent the maximum in, I can just select that and I'll be able to see Environmental Club, Kalo Elementary, they spent $600 and that was the maximum that they spent. All right, and so we can kind of see like priorities here also. Another thing that I can do, let's see. I can see how many times they logged, and so I can just do select school, and then I can just do select school from schools, and then group by school, and then say having count equal, or maybe I want to say maybe I just want to look at the schools who just logged in more than 2 times, so I can do greater than 2. Having count group by school. Oops, what did I do? Okay, let me see. Oh, so I thought I was doing something wrong, but I wasn't. So it turns out that I didn't mean to do this on purpose, but I think each of them show up 3 times. So like there's Roberts, Kalo, and then Kalo, and then Lori's. Oh, I think Lori's doesn't show up. Hold on. Lori's. Yeah, they all show up 3 times, and so that's why when I set like let's say like 4, nothing would show up. What now? From schools, select school from. Why is there a comma there? All right, so that's why when I said like I don't know like 4, it would just disappear and would only show me like this result, and so I was like, what's happening? But I forgot that I actually do. That's showing me that there's 0, schools that are mentioned 4 times or that logged 4 times. So essentially, if I just do one, I'm basically saying, okay, tell me which schools logged 1 time, tell me which schools logged 2 times or 3, right? Or then 4. Um, so then I notice that if I do 3, I get all of the schools because they all logged in 3 times. That's like their total count, but like none of them logged in 1 time. And so that's why there's 0 schools popping up. And then I only see like this query over here. If I do greater than 2, all of them should pop up because I know that all of these schools logged in more than 2 times. But if I do greater than 4, none of them are going to pop up, right? Because none of them logged more than 4 times that month for their student expenses. and only this query pops up. So that's just something that I always have to look after or look forward, not look forward to. How do I say this? Keep on the lookout for, because sometimes I'm like, did I do something wrong? And it's like, no, it's because like I'm querying for something that doesn't exist. So it's like, that's why it's not showing anything. All right, so that's one thing. I mean, I guess it's another thing. So I'll leave it equal to 3 so I'm able to see those results. And then I think honestly, that's literally it. I mean, if I could just, there's like, maybe I can just explore a little bit with the like operator. Maybe I can look into, I can select the school um, from schools where, let's say, where, let's see, where their amount is greater than 300. So like I can specifically select anything, and like any schools who just, gave more than $300 for any student initiative. Um, and it could be repeating, like it just could be, just repeating. So I could do that. I could also do kind of query for the reason, or not the reason, but the specific club. Maybe I want to see if like which schools gave more than $300 for let's see, maybe what's the club that maybe film club. So maybe I'll do more than $200. So here's what I'm going to query for. Maybe I'll just look into the schools who gave more than $200 for film club, and then maybe I'll just change one, like maybe improv club to this, and change this to like $100. All right, so then I'll kind of query around here. So I'll select school from schools where the amount is greater than $200, and whoops, and let's see, club is equal or has something to do with film, and then I can also select the club. Select blah blah blah. All right, so let's kind of edit this a little bit. So blah blah blah, this goes here. Let's see. Or maybe it's a different way. All right, so select school and then the club where the amount is greater than $200 and the club is equal to film club. Maybe this goes here. Beautiful. Okay. So select school, right? So I'm selecting the schools and the club names from my database where the amount is greater than $200 and the club is film club. So in other words, I'm looking for schools who spent more than $200 on film club. And this is kind of, there's a better way to do this. Um, Notice that when I just had film, right, I put in film and it gave me nothing, right? Because I said, okay, club has to be equal to film, right? And there is no club that's just equal to film. It has film in it, but there's also club, right? And so if I want to not be that specific and I just want to, just kind of find like any club that has the word film in it or film related, I can use the like operator. So let's see. So if I could do, let's see, there's and club, and then I can do like, and then let me just get rid of this stuff. This is kind of like a review for me. Like I'm just trying to remember how to do these things. Okay, so time, nope, it was the, where's the percent key? Okay, the 5, 5. All right, and just put that in there. And then in here, I would just do something like film. Oops. All right, beautiful. There we go. So now, even if I don't have club in there, it's still going to output Roberts Elementary and Lori's Middle School because I have something related or like club in or under the club column. And so if I put something like K, right, and something like a typo, it's not going to give me anything. But if I do something like film, it's going to do something. If I do club, it's going to give me like multiple things because literally anything that has like a club that's greater than $200, it's just what it's going to output, right? Because pretty much all of them have the club in it, but specifically film. So that's another way of doing it. So basically, yeah, that's like the like operator. So I'm just saying instead of setting it equal to, I put in like, and then I just put in the word that I want in here within percent signs and quotations. And that's another way to do that. So that's another thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's let's see, there's like subquerying, but that doesn't relate to this. That only relates if there's like another database. But yeah, I think that's it. Um yeah, I'm gonna go now. Anyway, bye.